Is Disney going to be sold to Apple? Is Disney going to be sold to Amazon? People have been begging us, asking us, please, Pro, Valiant Renegade, and more. Answer, what will become of Disney as its quality, as its company continues to slide? Well, we've said in the past that Disney would need to sell big chunks of itself. And now there is indication that that is likely on the way. We're here to tell you why it seems like Disney is preparing to sell off ABC. Well, what a beautiful day it is out there. It's beautiful because you are sharing your time with us here on the WDW Pro channel as we get ready to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve when it comes to the potential exit of ABC from the Disney family. And that's not even close to all of the parts that Disney may be jettisoning. Now, does that mean that Disney is absolutely going to be sold to an Apple or an Amazon? No. But it is the beginning of Disney beginning to exit parts of itself that are significant. There are far more parts that would have to leave the company in order for them to actually be sold to these other bigger companies. But that said, it is newsworthy in and of itself that something as large as ABC looks to be on the chopping block for Disney. Joining us today is Kiss My Grits, KMG, here with some insight into what is going on. And I want to read for you, KMG, this message that I've received from a source out there. Before I do, folks, if you like this kind of content, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. And KMG, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Pro, and thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's a joy to have you, of course, and you've got some experience in various ways when it comes to this sort of thing, and so we thought it'd be a good idea to get you on board to talk about this. But here's what I've got from a source out there who was privy to some stuff going on in the background at Disney that really is the indicator, and I think we're ahead of almost anybody else out there when it comes to this occurrence and indicating that ABC may be going away. It says, just providing you with an update from this past Friday, says senior leadership over at Disney Ad Sales has already started reorganizing in anticipation of the sell-off of ABC and other entertainment networks, talking about linear broadcast TV. An email apparently was circulated amongst that division and their staff that told them their focus going forward will need to be sports and technology/data. They are going to be attempting to sell audience data. And we're waiting to get more information beyond that. We've also got some information, and we've got this up on the screen, folks, about Nexstar Media Group, and apparently they also are doing some things that are indicating ABC may be on the way out. Now, KMG, I've shown you this image from Nexstar Media Group. Can you walk us through why it's significant, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, this is not surprising at all, and I can say, we've heard about the potential sale of, ABC and maybe other Disney assets to Nexstar Media, as well as the bid that Byron Allen put out there. And I think that those two offers are probably all that's been leaked to the press. I guarantee you that Iger and the board have probably entertained maybe 5 or 6 more other offers that we just don't know about yet. But it's interesting that this source sent you this information that Disney Ad Sales is already kind of attempting to reorg in anticipation of these sell-offs. Those types of reorgs would not happen if Nexstar Media and Byron Allen and maybe others are just in the initial stages.
So you think there's you think there's either a very credible offer on the table for ABC, or you think that Disney is so set in their ways of selling this that there's no way other than it's going to be sold?
I think so. Like you would not make any sort, like you would not tell your staff and make any sort of significant changes to your leadership if there was no near-term, I guess you could say threat, so to speak, that your business is going to change. Like there is definitely something that is going to be happening in the near future, and they're preparing for it.
Well, so let me ask you this. So we've got the 30. Let's see, what was it? No, it's. I'm sorry, it's 10. Only $10 billion on the table out of the media mogul who owns so many of those cable channels out there you mentioned earlier. I'm not sure that that's a likely transaction on the way. I think that Disney's going to want significantly more out of ABC. At the same time, Disney has gravely damaged ABC and some of these other channels by declaring that, this is a part of the industry that's in decline and they believe will eventually die or reach obscurity. So, how much do you think that Disney wants out of this? And also, how much will this impact Disney in terms of ad revenues? It seems to me that ABC garners a ton of ad revenue that would be eliminated if they sell the everything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, watching your channel and reading the news, I think that probably the price tag Disney would like to get is, I think they probably would like to get at least 10 billion, because we know that's sort of the bare minimum price that they're going to have to pay for the remaining 33% of Hulu. So,
Right.
at least
probably think that's closer to 20, but somewhere in
right.
between. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but hey, if they could at least sell off, ABC and some other networks and get the bare minimum, at least that's cash that, they would readily get and wouldn't have to end up financing, or borrowing, etc. But in terms of the ad sales, yeah, like this is huge. Disney ad sales is a large organization. And from what I know, I mean, the organization is roughly around, I think, like 1,500 people as part of Disney ad sales. So when you are potentially taking away ABC, FX, Nat Geo, the latter two, which were acquired during the Fox acquisition, that is a significant portion of their workforce.
And
Because
KMG,
there are,
is it fair to say that that purchasing Hulu? So if Hulu comes into this, and Hulu already is, but the size of Hulu in terms of sales and in terms of the number of people needed in Disney ad sales to handle Hulu is minuscule in comparison to all these other channels we're talking about the exit, even though the monetary values seem to be
yeah,
somewhere in the same vicinity.
absolutely. And I want to point out one thing that your source wrote, which triggered me, was talking about how the focus needs to be on kind of data and audience going forward. This is something that the ad sales industry has been migrating towards for many years now, because all of the big media players, the Comcast, Disney's, Paramounts, etc., they are all trying to compete with Google and Facebook, because Google and Facebook primarily sell all of their audience data. Like that is what advertisers can come in and buy. And I mean, you're talking about as low in the funnel of marketing, pinpointing to your exact audience as you can get. So all of the big media players, who for years have sold just, the traditional commercial buy, you buy against a program. That is no longer the way that media is sold. And so a lot of the media companies are transitioning to what they call programmatic buying, which is basically artificial intelligence. Replacing the human worker, replacing the traditional ad seller that was the middleman, between the advertiser and the media network to negotiate that deal. Well, now what these advertisers can do and what these ad agencies can do, they can basically go into a software and buy directly all the inventory that they need, on Hulu or on Disney Plus or on any network that has this software. So they don't need an ad seller. They can just go in and buy whatever inventory is available and kind of set their price and go. So I think this transition that we're seeing, this is going to be this is not going to be good for the ad sellers and the marketing, like the solutions people, the creative teams. It's not going to be good for them, because
Do you have any? Sorry, finish your thought, and then I've got a question about sports contracts.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, basically the media and the media ad sales industry is becoming automated. Like automation is replacing a lot of the human contact and paperwork that we used to see.
I see. KMG, do you have any knowledge of the contracts that ABC holds in terms of NFL, NBA, MLB, et cetera, the major sports leagues in North America, and whether or not those contracts will be severed as part of ABC potentially being sold to a group like Nexstar, et cetera?
That is a very good question, and unfortunately, I don't know any specific details of those contracts. But I guarantee you that is going to be the big sort of elephant in the room when these negotiations are ironed out, because I actually believe you and Valiant pointed it out a few nights ago that, you know, when Nexstar, if it's Nexstar Media or Byron Allen or whoever that is going to be buying these networks, if live sports is completely removed from the negotiations, well, then the price of ABC just went from 10 billion maybe down to, I don't know, 5, maybe 6, because that's the
Do
live
you
sports that's where the huge chunk of advertising revenue comes in,
do
because
you
that
really
that is
believe
where.
do you really believe that ABC is worth one third of Hulu? I mean, we're talking about selling ABC and other channels for $10 billion. Hulu is estimated to be worth 30 billion plus. I realize that we're moving away from linear television, but this feels like, the people out there who say, well, we won't have gas cars in 3 years. I mean, this is nuts to me that ABC, American Broadcast Company, is worth only $10 billion. Uh, this really boggles my mind a little bit. I know it's on the decline, but surely not this much.
Well, I think I read yesterday where Michael Eisner, he purchased ABC back in the 90s, I think, for $19 billion. Could the network really have depreciated that much?
Adjusted for inflation,
Since
I would suggest it's way more today. If it just held its value, that's probably what, 30 billion ish.
at least.
And I assume he bought it on a deal. I assume that Michael Eisner, one of the things he's known for is he's very good at getting a deal. Not something that Iger is known for, but Eisner, yes. Now, KMG, there's something very interesting in all of this. Perhaps one of the untold stories, one of the narratives that is cutting through that I don't think many out there are going to catch upon. So we're going to try and give a little jolt to it. Dana Walden. We can't say why right now, folks. We can't tell you at all why we think this, but just go with us here for a moment. We think Dana Walden is easily now the lead contender for the CEO position in the future. Easily. Things can change, but Dana Walden appears to be the lady who they want to be at the top in the near future. KMG, Dana Walden also was over ABC. How does this look if your future CEO presided over a network which is diminished this much? How are they going to spin this? And then also, I don't understand how they can just sell this off and nobody ever asked the question, well, now, wait a minute. Couldn't you have turned ABC into a streaming network along the lines of Disney Plus, Hulu, et cetera, and had it be, go on in perpetuity? It's bizarre to me that Disney is going to throw this away, but CBS will continue and NBC will continue, and Disney's devaluing their own, one third of all networks here in one third of the big three networks here in the United States. It's bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, well, first about Dana Walden, and actually, I'm kind of wondering. I would love to be a fly on the wall right now to see what's going on between her and Alan Bergman, because I mean, you think about it, they're right now co-running Disney Entertainment, and Iger is about to essentially destroy 2/3 of their division. The only thing that they're going to have left is Hulu and Disney Plus.
Those are
And
Disney Plus is hugely successful though. KMG hugely.
right. So I mean, there's definitely going to be there's going to be a battle between Alan Bergman and Dana Walden to come out of this and still keep their job. So I don't know how that war is going to end up. And I'll say that obviously within Disney, you've got people in California who are directly tied to some of those networks. Like their job is specific to ABC or it's specific to FX or Nat Geo. And so, they're obviously worried because once those networks get sold, is let's just say Nexstar Media, for example, is Nexstar Media going to take all of those individuals? Like, are they going to, say, okay, Disney, we'll take all of your staff and then we'll decide who stays and who goes once they come over?
It's hard to see why Disney
Or
would keep those people. I mean, that's not something I
yeah,
think many people out there are thinking about. They're thinking about just the
yep,
transaction of the affiliates. They're thinking about the brand. They're thinking about some of those shows that would go with ABC, but it's people too.
yep. Well, I can tell you when the Fox acquisition happened back in, I think it was made known in 2017 and the deal officially closed around 2019. Several Fox executives had to go interview with Disney executives. So they had to re-interview for their jobs. And then there was a day where all the Fox executives and employees below them found out whether or not you were going to be retained at Fox or you were going to be let go or sent over to Disney. So it was sort of like, three scenarios that they were presented with. And, that could likely be a scenario that happens here. Maybe not so much the scenario for the advertising sales teams because the ad sales teams are not tied to a specific network. They sell the entire portfolio. So once those networks are sold off, I mean, I could see a lot of the ad sales people just completely. I mean, I hate to say this, they could be completely let go. Like
Right.
there is going to be no migration plan offered for them, unless the buyer says, well, we need to ramp up our ad sales staff, so we'll take a certain percent. But I just highly doubt that's going to be negotiated.
KMG, do you have any idea how much revenue ABC generates for Disney?
Hmm. It's it of all the channels, it's definitely the highest. I I do not know just all the exact revenue, because they do like to. I mean, Disney does like to keep those numbers internal. I mean, that's something that
Sure,
really
absolutely,
doesn't
yeah.
ever. Occasionally you might have an ad week or an ad age spill the beans or get that info leaked to them, but ABC. I mean, when you look at ABC, you've got the tentpole sporting events, obviously football. That's big for them, and then and actually, here's an elephant in the room nobody's talking about: the Oscars.
The
The
Oscars, The
Oscar,
Bachelor, Bachelorette.
yeah. Well, and the Bachelor series is not even produced by Disney. That's produced by Warner Brothers.
Right, which could
So
devalue, yeah.
exactly, and actually, and I think many of the series that you see on ABC, like Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars, I believe, is produced by the BBC or some other company. So that's not even a Disney asset. Abbott Elementary, which is another one of their high rated fictional like scripted programs, I believe that's also produced by Warner Brothers. So when and you talking about the value of ABC, well, if the producers for those programs decide that they don't really want, this company like Nexstar Media to be, controlling the distribution of their shows, and they pull out of negotiations or say no, we're not going to allow our shows to be sent over there. Then boy, the value of ABC just continues to plummet.
Could be a good day for CBS and NBC. KMG,
I
I guess the place I want to go to, though, as we wrap up this conversation, and so thankful that you've been here to explain us, through all of this. But um, uh, I'm not saying that Disney shouldn't sell ABC and these other networks. That's not my claim here. But I do find it interesting that Disney is selling what I assume to be profitable. I assume that ABC is a profitable part of Disney right now. Is that correct?
Uh, mm, I mean, look, ABC still generates a significant amount of income. Whether or not it's profitable, I mean, that's debatable. Because we clearly don't know, on the back end, how much, they're spending on a lot of these shows, which obviously, as you and Valiant have pointed out, Disney has definitely not been truthful about.
They're sneaky
So,
sometimes on this stuff.
yeah, but I would say that I think what we're dealing with here is you have a company with a CEO that just went crazy wild with a credit card with an unlimited limit. And now that credit card bill has finally come in and they've said, uh-oh,
Right. Well,
they
here's the
can't.
thing. And this is what I'm looking at, okay? And again, I'm not saying they shouldn't do this. I'm not saying that they should not sell ABC, but they're selling ABC and they are using that money essentially, right? This is a one-to-one trade if it's in the range we think it's going to be for both of these. They're going to use that to buy Hulu. All right. Now, we know that they're planning to integrate Hulu into Disney Plus. And we have a really good feeling that they're planning to kill Hulu over time to fully integrate it into Disney Plus and make it just be a blade inside there. I find it fascinating that Disney is selling what I assume to be a business model that at least could be very successful so that they can then plump up their Disney Plus offerings. And Disney Plus, of course, is not profitable and is unlikely to turn into a profit for another decade. So, final thoughts, KMG.
Yeah, what is going to be very difficult, I think, going forward for them is you're cutting out a significant revenue stream for the company when you sell off these networks. And actually, one thing that I want to point out that's also kind of another elephant in the room that nobody's really discussing: the sale of National Geographic, specifically National Geographic Channel. You cannot sell off that network without selling the entire National Geographic company.
It's a good point. There's a lot of Nat Geo on Disney Plus right now.
Yes. So and I would say, so that, okay, if all that content leaves Disney Plus, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but what most people don't realize is that, Nat Geo Channel, while it used to be managed by Fox, the Fox acquisition created a unique business unit within National Geographic called National Geographic Partners. And National Geographic Partners runs all of the media for that brand. So the magazine, the online, the social, the networks, etc. So it's not like you can just say, okay, here, Nexstar Media, take National Geographic Channel, but we're going to retain everything else. It cannot work that way. So that's obviously something that nobody's really talked about, that it's the entire National Geographic company is going to have to go along with this sale.
Well, I would
But I
say,
think,
go ahead, finish your thought.
but I think you and Valiant brought it up a few weeks ago, or maybe it was just recently, that the revenue per user on streaming. And now, because of this new Charter deal, where Charter customers are basically going to be getting Disney Plus and even potentially ESPN Plus for quote unquote free because of their cable packages, the revenue per user on streaming for Disney is about to plummet.
That
And
legendary ARPU.
oh yeah, and sure, they can go out there and claim, oh hey, look at how many new subscribers we've got. Well, yeah, did you really? And that's another thing too, talking about audience buying and selling data and stuff. Well, those are Charter's customers. So, are you really going to be able to access data from Charter's customers and sell that to advertisers? That's a whole nother can of worms.
That's a big can of worms.
That's got to be discussed. That's a huge can of worms. Because Disney can you sell the data of people who directly sign up for Disney Plus and ESPN Plus? Absolutely. It's in the user agreement that Disney makes you sign. You're basically, just like all of us, we are being watched and, marketed to, and listen to and etc. But I just think that I tell you, I think Disney is in such a mess right now. They have so many liabilities and debt that they are so desperate to wipe that off the books and look good to investors again to get that stock price back up, that they're just making a lot of irrational decisions.
Well, folks, let's end it here by saying this, KMG. The other thing to watch for, your point on National Geographic is fantastic. I don't think anybody out there, that's not something that many people know. But I would say this too. There's a lot of sports programming on ABC. The idea that they're going to be able to take that same sports broadcasting, all of those programs, all of those events, and move them to ESPN and still offer the same audience size, I think that's questionable. I think that's what we need to be watching very closely, as we now believe Disney is preparing to sell ABC absolutely. So pay close attention to that, folks, because that may mean that not all of these sports events can go over to ESPN, and some of these leagues might be angry if Disney and whatever happens if they attempt it. So very interesting stuff. KMG, thank you so much for being here.
Yep, and thank you so much for having me. It's been a great discussion, and I'm very intrigued and eager to see how all of this is going to end up.
That's right. And folks, we appreciate you being here. If you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. And when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. This does not just need to be two people having a conversation in a bubble, but rather this should be a dialogue with all of you. It's a community, so drop your comments down below. We covet them. We care about what you think. Be watching tomorrow, because we've got a new report on Dave Filoni and Ahsoka. Dave Filoni has said something that may make some of you Star Wars fans, especially you OG Star Wars fans, pretty unhappy. And we're going to cover that tomorrow morning. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Well, you see, I wanted to get some inside scoops on Disney and their different corporations, if you know what I mean. So I figured by looking into this fistbowl and sucking it randomly with my own energy that I pay for, you paid for, I could do the whole experience where you can be a master and spy on your targets.
You're an idiot. If you want to get the inside scoop on Disney, or even other media organizations, you should check out thatparkplace.com and subscribe to WDW Pro's YouTube channel. That'd be way easier, more accurate, and, less dumb.
Are you saying I won't get accurate information this way?
No, you can't.
Who'd have think?